No matter how much money you make right now, whether it's 500, 5,000 on a monthly basis, 50,000 on a monthly basis, you can build wealth. And I'm going to be sharing that information on how you can go about doing that in this video. The problem though is a lot of people believe that they need to make a lot of money in order to build wealth, and that is not true. I'm sure you've seen a lot of people that made a lot of money or are making a lot of money and are still very poor. And that is because most of their money is spent on things that they do not need to impress people that do not care about them. And if you live your life like that, unfortunately, you won't be able to build wealth. Here is a bold promise I'm going to make in this video. I'm going to share with you how you can build wealth on any income as long as you are willing to do what it takes. It's never going to be easy. It's not going to be quick, and you would need to do the hard work. But I'm going to share the steps with you so that you can go away and think to yourself, how can you implement these steps? Now, make sure you watch till the end to avoid some of the mistakes even the high earners make, so that you don't make the same mistakes and you can build wealth in the process. Now, one of the first steps that I'm going to share with you is that if you are going to build wealth in any income bracket, the first thing you need to master is your cash flow. Think about it like what is left after your expenses. Now, I don't want to bore you with making a budget and sticking to your budget, but it would help you if you're the type of person that wants to plan for your expenses and you're able to stick with it, especially if you are single and you are able to dictate exactly what you spend your money on and you're disciplined enough to stick to it. Then I believe having a budget would help you. Assuming you do not have a budget or you do not like that restriction, which I believe it's actually liberating to have a budget, but let's just assume, quote unquote, restrictive. One of the things you can do is to make sure that whatever you do, if you make, let's say, $5,000 on a monthly basis, try as much as you can. And I'm talking about what really eats your bank account, so your net income, not your gross, okay? Your net income, let's assume it's $5,000. Make sure that whatever you spend, you want to leave a huge portion behind. Easy numbers here. You spend, let's say, $4,000 and now you have $1,000 left. That $1,000 is what you can really use to start building wealth. Yeah, we all have to live, which means that, you have to pay your rent, you have to heat food, you have to buy gas, you have to pay your bills. All this important stuff needs to be done. And of course, you have to buy clothes and maybe have some fun, right? But be very responsible about these things, especially on the big ticket items like the car that you drive and the bills that you pay, especially on the subscription aspects, because most of the time, a lot of us who subscribe to things that we don't need and they are costing us a lot of money on a monthly basis, which if we could avoid those subscriptions, they could add up to thousands of dollars within a few years. So important thing here is let us have a positive cash flow, which means let us have something left behind after we paid all our bills. And the more money you have left behind, the faster you are likely to build wealth. My first action step to you is to look into your bank statements and see where your money has been spent in the past 30 days or maybe 60 days. As you identify the areas that you spend your money, you are likely to become more aware of where your money goes. And that would help you to start, tracking and cutting back where necessary. There are times when you don't realize that, you're paying X amount to some dude somewhere for nothing because you subscribe to the thing and you don't even use it anymore. So pay attention to that. And by looking at your bank statements, you're likely to catch those types of expenses. Now, the second step that I'm going to recommend to you is to pay yourself first. I'm pretty sure you've seen this in different financial videos or maybe books, but this trick really works like magic. If you think about it like this, let's assume that you make $5,000 and you want to be very disciplined on what you spend and you do not want to spend more than, let's say, $4,000. You see, the $1,000 difference is something that immediately the money hits your bank account, so you get paid. Take out a percentage of that money. So in this case, if it's $1,000 you want to take it out and invest it or save it in some account that is less accessible to you. And when you do that, what happens is that you are left with your $4,000, and now you have the freedom to spend it on whatever you like, as long as you stick to not touching that money that you've put in a separate account. By doing this, you have now given yourself an edge, in the sense you're not going to be tempted on spending more than you plan to spend, because you only have $4,000 left in that account. And as long as you stick to it and you're disciplined enough to know that that $1,000 you've transferred out is out, it's treated like a bill that you have to pay, then you don't have to worry about it, and you just continue to do that on a regular basis. The third step that I'm going to share with you is based on the percentage of money you make. So for example, let's make a good example here. Let's say you make $5,000. If you can just increase your income by, let's say, 50%, all right, which means instead of $5,000, you now make, let's say, $7,500. Guess what? You see, that increase can be something that you end up putting away. So like they've actually said, or they say, it is easier to save and build wealth when you remain on your previous earning capacity. In this case, you were making $5,000, you keep your expenses, your lifestyle as if you're still making $5,000, but now you're making $7,500. So you see that difference, that $2,500 difference can be something that you can put away into an account, into an investment that you can build over a long term, as long as you're willing to stay disciplined enough to avoid lifestyle inflation. And that is, not upgrading to the newest car, not upgrading to the newest house in this case, because the more you do those upgrades, the likelihood of your lifestyle increasing in terms of the amount of money you spend most likely will go up. So by avoiding those lifestyle inflation that you have control over, you can then put those extra money that you have, put it into an investment and let it just build and save it and remain disciplined. That is a key thing, remaining disciplined, not to live like you earn $7,500 or $10,000. Now, as you save this money on a consistent basis, it is now important for you to make sure that that money is invested. And when I say investment, it could be in stock market, it could be in real estate, it could be in cryptocurrencies, it could be in whatever assets you understand. It could be a business, okay? But make sure it is something that you understand and has a proven track record. In this case, if it is a stock market, buying the index funds or mutual funds, ETFs, or even stocks of different companies already have a proven track record, and those are things that you can invest in. Now, understand that the stocks are risky. Sometimes they lose money, but if you have a long-term approach and you're not trying to time the market, you are likely to do well, and that is the benefit of the stock market. With real estate, you have to understand that right now real estate interest rates are very high. Although if you have a lot of cash, this might be a time to actually buy, because you can buy with a lot of cash. If you've saved that much money and you can afford it, you can put down a lot of money to save on the interest, or you can even use that buying power that you have to negotiate a better deal with a potential seller. Now, all of this comes with experience and, doing it and actually going after it. But if your goal is just to do something that is not, I would say passive, then the stock market is a definitely easier way to get started. And you don't have to really be a professional. You don't need to monitor the market every day. And in fact, it is best to invest and forget. Just set it on an automatic investment. Let it automatically invest for you every 2 weeks, however often you get paid, and let it just invest for you over time. Now, this is one of the areas that you want to avoid, because if you are on this journey, you want to avoid this lifestyle inflation that I mentioned earlier. You see, a lot of people that make a lot of money, doctors, lawyers, and the likes, the goal here is that most of them want to, again, look the part. In this case, they want to impress their friends and family members. or spouses, and they get into situations where they are spending all the money they make. You're making, let's say $500,000 a year, but then you're living in a very expensive house, driving a very expensive car. Guess what? All your money goes out the window because you are paying the bank. And that is something that you want to avoid, because if you fail to be disciplined, guess what? You would work for the bank for a very long time, and that is not what you want to do. So it is best that you keep your lifestyle small or on the lower income side that you were on, that is comfortable, of course, but avoid upgrading to those newer cars or the newer homes and buying these expensive long-term debt items. A car is an example, a house is an example, and things that just doesn't make sense, buying designer clothes and watches, things that they lose value over time. Now, if you're buying those things for investment's sake, it's a different case. But if you're just buying to impress people that don't care about you, then that is where you're likely to go wrong. And I do not want you to go wrong. I want you to build wealth. I want you to be happy. I want you to have a stress-free life. If you're finding value in this video, please don't forget to drop a like on it. It goes a long way. Now, if you're interested in more videos like this, please feel free to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to let me know your thoughts about the steps that I've just shared with you. Are they good steps that you can actually take actions on right now? And do you feel like with this information, you can actually walk away and go look into your own bank statement or your account and see areas in which you need to maybe hold back or cut off from your statement or from your expenses? Because the more you can do those things, the better your finances will look, and the more money you can save and invest for the future. I'll see you in the next one.